Good morning. Welcome to Monday Morning Mom. I'm Erin Sarles, and every Monday morning, I read a real letter from a real sports parent and I tell you the truth about what it means. So, for those of you that this is your first episode, I'm going to date myself a little bit here, but if you remember the column Dear Abby that used to be in the newspaper, mine how I know this is it was always clipped and put on my grandma's refrigerator. And so people would write in anonymous letters to Abby in the newspaper. Abby would write them back and it would be a column. So we've taken it virtual, it's online. I go live every week. Parents DM me their letters, and I just get the opportunity to read it, share, and celebrate that parent and give some advice or perspective on how I think it should be handled. So I want to tell you today's letter is one of the most honest ones I've received, not because of what happened, because what this mom was willing to admit about why it happened. She didn't write in to ask me if she was wrong. She already knows it was wrong. She wrote in because she wants to understand the part of herself that said it anyways, and she wants to know how to repair what it cost her son. The kind of honesty is not easy to sit with, but it's exactly the kind of honesty that changes it. So let's read the letter. So the letter reads, Dear Erin, my son is a junior in high school. He plays soccer. He has worked hard his entire career, club teams, extra training, film sessions, all of it. We invested in him completely, and he has never once complained or taken it for granted. Last month, his teammate, a kid he has played alongside since they were 12, committed to a Division I program, full scholarship. It was a big deal, and the whole community celebrated. I celebrated it too, out loud, and then in the car on the way home, I said something I cannot take back. I looked at my son and said, You have the same tools he does. I just don't understand why it isn't happening for you the way it's happening for him. He didn't say a word. He looked out the window the entire drive home, and something shifted between us that I haven't been able to fix since. I knew that moment it came out of my mouth, it was wrong, but I said it anyways. And I think it's because I meant it. And that might be the worst part. How do I repair what I said? And how do I deal with what it's revealed about me? Said the quiet part out loud in Minnesota. Wow. Well, said the quiet part out loud in Minnesota. It took a lot of courage to write the letter. And it also took the courage, I think to own all of it, to acknowledge, I think, because I meant it. And so I think there's a couple really big things to unpack here. I see this all the time. In fact, I just was having a conversation earlier about this, about what everybody is doing. I think in today's day and age with social media and posts and all the things, I think there's such a comparison game going on. And it's super, super sad to see what it's doing to our kids and what it's ultimately doing to us. I've even dealt with this with my own son. And I think we have to, remind ourselves that every athlete's journey is unique and we have to respect that. And so, first and foremost, I mean, what are your son's desires? Does he desire to go play D1? Is that what he wants, or is that what you want? That's something for you guys to unpack, because you saying what you said to him sounds like comparison, or why isn't that you? And it's like, it may not be him because maybe he doesn't want it. Or maybe it's not him. You didn't share that in the letter because he has other dreams and aspirations. We don't know. And it's exciting for that other student. And we should absolutely be celebrating that. But comparing our kids to other kids and what they're achieving, obviously you're feeling the ramifications of what that feels like. And so I think there's a lot of opportunity for all of us as parents, number one, to keep ourselves focused on our kids, on their journey, on the wholeness of who they are, well beyond the game. It's not just about soccer. It's not about getting a soccer scholarship. Yes, you're seeing the celebration of the community, which is beautiful and wonderful, but life is so much more than that. And I think number one, we have to get grounded in who do we want our children to be, and sports being one avenue or one vehicle in order to do that. And number two, to not be worried about where they sit in comparison with anybody else. Their journey is their journey, and how do you help them as a parent on their journey? That's what I think we have a greater opportunity with, because I think our kids already are playing the comparison game. So if we then pile on as a parent now in comparison, like, why did they get it and you didn't, or he's working harder than you are? No, it's about them. What do you want? Where do you want to be? How can we get you there? And, you'll see this everywhere. I got an offer here, I got an offer there. Some of that you may or may not be able to believe. And if you really are grounded in your worth, you don't have to tell everybody every single offer you're getting, because it's not about that. It's about, does this opportunity fuel me as a person and where I want to go? And so we're getting too wrapped up in our kids and what other kids and things are doing that we're losing sight. I mean, you obviously had a very painful moment with your son. And in that, your son is feeling that wound. You don't know, rather than making that statement, asking questions. How do you feel about that? What do you want? How can we support you? Like, there's better ways to ask the question and to understand where he's at. He's playing alongside this kid. He's feeling the impact. Maybe he could be like, gosh, I'm so excited for him because I have no desires to go on to the next level. Or he could be like, man, I'm really excited for him. I've got to really step up my game to be able to do that. Or maybe it opens a whole nother conversation. And I think that's where we have to become more curious. How did your son feel? What, if you feel like he's not putting in as much effort, maybe he doesn't want the same things. And if he wants the same things, then their conversation has to shift to, how do we help you get there? This is what the next level looks like. Do you want to put in that work? And to do that. And I think, how do you repair this? You have to take full ownership of this. You have to sit him down and say, you know what? I made the biggest mistake and I need to apologize for that. When I compared you to your athlete, I was not, expressing faith in you. I was expressing my own jealousy or my own fears. And I completely missed the mark. How are you feeling about this? But what I said was wrong. I love you. I think you're incredible. And I want you to know that you're supported. And I'm here to walk this journey with you. And if you want the same thing, how can I support you? But he's on his own path. It's not the same path as his teammate. And every athlete and parent needs to hear that your journey is unique. We have a show called Path to the Pros. There is not one path to get to the professional level, D1 level. There is no one way. It's unique to everybody. And so helping our children understand their uniqueness, understand the path, the process. It might be winding, it might be curvy. It's not the same as anybody else. There is no one way. The one way is for you and for us as parents to support that one way, to inspire their dreams, to keep them on the path that they want to be on, but not to be like, I have to be like everybody else. And so I love this conversation because I think this happens often. I think our kids are comparing. I think us as parents are comparing. This person isn't as good as this person. This kid isn't as good as my son. This person isn't as good as my daughter. Stop it. Help your child focus on who they want to be, who they want to become, and how does athletics inspire that? And that there is no one else out there that is like them. And so this is unique to them. And you want them to step into that uniqueness, into their superpowers, into the confident person you want them to go into the world and be. And so seeing what everybody else is doing is not the breeding ground to raise healthy, confident kids. And they already have enough with social media. So apologize, take full ownership, get inquisitive, get curious, ask him questions and see what he says. And I appreciate you, Mom in Minnesota, for being so willing to put it out there. Don't hold yourself in shame. You're not a bad mom. I've done it. We've all done it. There cannot be one parent that cannot say they've said something stupid, kind of put their foot in their mouth and wish they hadn't said it. But I will tell you, give it time, take full ownership of the mistake, and allow him to come to you and rebuild that communication and allow this to be his dreams. So this is Monday Morning Mom. We come to you every Monday at 8 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. I read one real letter from one parent navigating this complex life that we called sports, being a sports parent. So DM me, send me your letter, and I will read it on air. I can't wait to see you next Monday.